Good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha Show, Omaha's only economic development and commercial real estate radio show, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, who has been in business for as long as I have known and has 4 locations and one near you. And D&M Roofing, a certified roofing contractor both in commercial and residential. They've been in business for over 50 years. I am Trenton Magid, and Jeff Beals, who you all know, has the weekend off playing father for some baseball games and things like that. But I am honored to have a wonderful co-host. His name is Peter Fink, and in 1979, he started Certified Transmission. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Great to have you on. And my colleague, Bryan Hartmann, who works with me on deals. He specializes in industrial properties and investment properties. And we work together at NAI NP Dodge. Good morning, Bryan.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thanks. It's great to be back. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we've got an exciting show, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to talk all things certified transmission. We're going to talk muscle cars. We're going to talk industrial property. We're going to talk Omaha Summer Arts Festival. And so we're glad that you're here. But right now it is time for the Development News of the Week, sponsored by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage has been in business for 30 years. They're licensed mortgage brokers serving Nebraska and Iowa. They give free consultations for purchases, refis. You can get pre-approved for conventional VA and FHA loans. They're right at the corner of 114th and Davenport, just south of 114th and West Dodge Road. Go to eaglemortgagecompany.com, and Holly and the team over at Eagle Mortgage will take care of you. And you see all those for sale signs going up. There's an active business. Even though mortgage rates are coming up a little bit, you need somebody, you need a qualifying letter to show that you're good for it. And in a competitive market, you want to get the best deal you can, and you want to get the house without picking your 5th favorite house out on the market. Well, economic development news. Blend Virtual Food Hall plans to open soon. The business will deliver food from multiple local restaurants to consumers' doorsteps in one single order, or you can pick it up on location at 107th and Q Street. The customers can purchase food from multiple vendors and either pick it up free of charge or have it delivered to your house. They're in the former Amigos building right next to Jimmy John's, 10710 Q Street. And Bryan, some of the interesting food concepts. Have you ever had Wonton John's breakfast burritos?
No, I have not had those.
They look pretty good. So I checked out their website. This is Dean Hodges' family, his son Matt, and a partner. It's kind of a novel concept. Look up these some of these things. There's Omaha Cheesesteak Company, there's Omaha Soup Company, Deviled Egg Company, Loaded Bowls, The Galley, Gravy Train, which is biscuits and gravy and all different types of biscuits. And so some of these unique concepts that aren't as well known as some of the franchise and things you see out there, but at least it's local. So we wish them the best of luck. A new restaurant is coming to the Interrail, the Exarban Food Hall. Reagan's Lobster Roll Shop plans to open in the former Ola Mexican Eatery space at the food hall. Lobster rolls. Peter, you ever eat lobster rolls?
I did. I've had a couple of them, and I really do like them a lot.
In Boston, they're pretty tasty. So that's something that's unique to the market. Here's one that I have had to practice to say. Nebraska's first Tulajou, that's my French impersonation, has opened next to Charleston's at 75th and Dodge Street. Tulajou, it sounds like too legit to quit, which means every day in French offers 300 different items baked in store. The South Korean company has 1,650 locations worldwide, with 70 of them in the U.S. Hopefully they do better than Red Mango in Omaha, because that was the last South Korean, and then they got competition. So excited for them. Here's something unique. The Switch Beer and Food Hall at 36th and Farnham, just north of the Blackstone, in the Blackstone district, beginning June 26th, they will temporarily close to the public. It will reopen This fall, under new management with a lineup of all new food and drink concepts, the food hall's new name will be Camp with a K. One of the tenants at the Switch Beer and Food Hall is El Aeropon Venezuelan Food, and it isn't going away. The restaurant plans to open a location in Bellevue within the next 2 weeks, so we'll look forward to that. Peter, were you ever a fan of Joe Test Place?
I've gone there many times. They're kind of iconic as far as I was concerned. South Omaha, definitely.
So my dad's was an SOB, a South Omaha boy, in 20th and Vinton, and I remember taking my grandma to Joe Test Place and seeing those big tanks, and I think one was like buffalo fish, the other one was something else, and to make gefilte fish. She came from Russia, and she knew how to pick her own fish, and I don't know what she's looking for, but after 85 years of serving fried carp and other foods, the legendary Joe Test Place has closed at 5424 South 24th Street in South Omaha. Not sure where that building's going to be. Brian, you got any ideas for it?
Oh, well, it's got great visibility up there. I mean, you always as you're heading down the highway, so I'm sure we'll have some ideas on what could happen there. It reminds me, my father-in-law is a farmer in Sarpy County, and when I first married into the family, one of his grain trucks was an old Joe Test's fish truck.
No way.
Yeah, and I just love it. I used to see it out on the place, and they used to be used to carry just massive loads of fish in and out, and he converted over to a grain truck.
Well, that's a heck of a run. Allen's Home Furnishings is resurgenced after being forever further east on L Street. They reopened 7 months after the owners closed their longtime store at 78th and L. They're now open at 132nd and L Street along Industrial Road. Check out, it's a nice family that owns that. World of Wonder will celebrate a grand opening on June 24th for its new store in Papillion Shadow Lake Town Center. The store, formerly known as Apples and More, is moving from 1013 Galvin Road in Bellevue. World of Wonder sells educational supplies, learning games, toys and gifts for teachers, homeschool families, parents, and grandparents. And lastly, in case you missed it, Grow Omaha published its first ever restaurant review last week. The series is called Grow Omaha Eats with Sarah Baker Hansen and will appear in the newsletter on the Grow Omaha website every other week. For her inaugural column last week, Sarah reviewed Koji in Countryside Village. We went there about a week ago. Have you guys tried Koji yet?
No, I have not.
So it's David Yoshitomo who has in Benson has a really good sushi place. Give it a shot. And it sounds like also in Countryside Village, the front of Countryside Village, just down the building, the corner Starbucks, is out of there. And I'm trying to remember what is going in there. Jeff was telling me about it. He talked to the manager over there. I got to remember, but it's a local favorite. And I believe, I hope I'm not talking out of school, but I believe it's Saddle Creek Breakfast Club is going there. So I don't know if it's a second location. Right. I don't know if it's a second location or they're moving. We'll have to wait and see. And that's your economic development news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage Company, where they know mortgages. Find them at eaglemortgagecompany.com, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, it's time to take our first break of the hour. You're listening to Trenton Magid, Peter Fink, and Bryan Hartmann right here on the Grow Omaha Show on 1110 KFAB. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Grow Omaha Show, the area's only economic development and commercial real estate radio program. You're listening to Trenton Magid and guest co-host Peter Fink, founder and owner of Certified Transmission, and Bryan Hartmann, my colleague at NAI NP Dodge. Well, it's easy for me to recommend Dingman's Collision Center. Yes, they are good friends of mine. Yes, they've been a great client of mine. However, they have taken care of my cars and pretty much everybody I know of cars at the time of need. Dingman's Collision Center, which also has a mechanical shop at 120th and West Maple Road, they are family-owned and operated since 1996. Boyd Dingman, Andy Dingman, Travis Dingman, Darcy Dingman, and Diana. The 4 locations, Northwest, Midtown, and Omaha. Southwest Omaha Papillion. Dingman's Collision Center has been chosen Best of Omaha in auto body repair every year since 2005. Your safety is their number one priority. Auto body, paint repair, mechanical. Restore your vehicle's performance and manufacturer-approved repair procedures. They stand up for you with insurance companies and maintain your manufacturer warranties with a certified repair. So that's Dingman's Collision Center. CoStar is the international news organization that we use for real estate analysis and things like that, and we turn to them for our news. Walmart, the nation's biggest retailer, is opening 4 new high-tech mega warehouses to beef up its ability to get online orders and customers faster, and certainly to compete with Amazon, who's probably gaining on them pretty well. Its expansion for Amazon, its expansion, in contrast to Amazon, is the e-commerce giant sent shockwaves to commercial real estate. And let me start again. The Amazon sent shockwaves through the commercial real estate industry when it was slowing down their distribution center development they announced. So Walmart said it has plans to open automated state-of-the-art fulfillment centers totaling 6.3 million square feet in Joliet, Illinois, Lancaster, Texas, McCordsville, Indiana, and Greencastle, Pennsylvania. So it'll be interesting. So the internet wars are in full attack mode, and that is your CoStar news of the week. Bryan Hartmann, you and I have done some really nice deals together, and we tell jokes and we help our clients together. And you've got a new industrial project you're representing that is very close to the Amazon mega warehouse on Highway 370. Tell us about that.
Yeah, thanks, Trenton. I really enjoy working with you on projects. This is thanks for the opportunity. This is kind of a neat opportunity, and we just talked about the Amazon and the Walmart internet wars, but this is right next door to the Amazon Regional Distribution Center at Highway 50 and 370. And so we're real excited about it. It's going to be 152,000 square foot industrial warehouse, and it's got it's got some really neat amenities. It has all the access of the Amazon Regional Center, which is a lighted intersection onto Highway 370. It sits up high, and it overlooks the Prairie Queen Reservoir. So we kind of envision a corporate office with 10 to 20,000 square foot of main level and mezzanine, kind of a Class A really office on the east end that overlooks the lake, and there's bike trails and it's park-like setting. And then the balance of the building being a distribution warehouse, light manufacturing. And we think it'll have the visibility for marketing. It'll have the access to Highway 50, I-80, 370, and then it'll have some amenities that are really more indicative of an office park. So it's a really unique property, and the dirt's getting moved now. And the opportunity for someone to come in and help design it a little bit from a pre-lease standpoint.
Could they be in there in about a year?
Depending on who the tenant is and what their needs are, and with lessening supply chain issues, I'd say a year to 18 months.
And the biggest amenity is you'll get your Amazon packages really fast.
I think I might put that as a bullet point.
Absolutely. And so you're talking about 50,000 on upsized tenants, or what size tenants?
At this point, we'd like to do 78,000 plus 2-tenant or a single tenant building, but it's really got the capacity we could go down to 50,000 square foot, maybe even a little smaller.
And I want a miniature pony as well, so I hope you get that that full building tenant. Peter Fink, you have 5 warehouses, I believe, for certified transmissions. You've got a large facility in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and then you've got how big's your facility in Omaha?
Well, we've got several facilities here in Omaha, but the main manufacturing is 106,000 square foot.
Excellent. And so you have over 400 employees?
Yes, we do. Right around the 500, getting there.
Okay, so these are skilled technicians. I assume Certified Transmission is always looking for warehouse employees and skilled laborers?
Definitely. We'll take skilled labor and we bring them in. We got our own training program. We'll put them in. They don't have to be a technician. If they've worked with their hands and like that kind of thing, we've got an excellent 6-month program. I've got 8 trainers, and we train all our own people.
And that's what it's all about. And I've actually, you've gone through a few of my industrial buildings before, so I know you're always looking for big buildings. Our friend Jason James does a good job with you finding them. And it's really cool to see, Peter, from a investor, tenant, owner user type facility. Have you seen what's your take on the industrial market in Omaha?
Wow. The industrial market, in my opinion, is that it is very tight. Okay. There ain't a lot of places, okay, to be honest, that's zoned industrial. So when a spot comes up, I don't want to say it goes fairly quick, but I would think it does, especially if it's priced right. I know as we've looked over the years for a place, it's very limited, okay, and can you get the rezoning? And, done that before, okay, not the funnest thing in the world to do, but it's possible, okay, but industrial space, the place you were just talking about, Brian, out by the Google or Amazon place, and I think Google's out there too or something.
They're all out there. Yeah.
I was blown away. If you haven't been out in that area, the growth out there, and I was actually even thinking, maybe I need to build a 500,000 square foot facility out there.
There's there's only about one other one. These guys have the best one going up, of course, but I'm biased. But no offense. Anyway, the Facebook has 4 or 5, 6 different
campuses.
Yeah, different campuses that are all kind of contiguous over there, and it's just amazing what's happening. But the construction costs, and one thing that when it comes to new construction, and someone was just telling me that it was Brad Williams heard that MUD basically says that in order to build new subdivisions, residential, I'm sure it affects commercial as well, just to get the steel pipes and everything for water and everything else, it could be a year out.
Wow.
And that's a problem that's going to persist for a few years. So if you can't put in sewer, you can't develop.
Correct. I mean, a huge deal. I mean, that infrastructure you got to have in place. And with all the construction backlogs, and it's not just in construction, it's in everything. So, there's transmissions that the General Motors, Chrysler can't even, if you have a warranty problem, they can't get you a transmission, okay? It's unbelievable. I mean, the shortages and everything that you see. I mean, you hear about formula, which it's crazy, it sounds like, okay, but, industrial space, piping, and, you get a part in the transmission that you can't get, got shut down or whatever, maybe it was imported and not built in the United States. You can't build that transmission even though you got the 1,499 other parts, okay, you're still done, okay? So we get calls from the manufacturers all the time. Hey, can we supply this? Can we supply that? And usually we can't either, okay?
Well, so you got that. You've got lumber prices, I hear, are coming down, thank God, which is great. And I even heard about a story about female hygiene products are at a shortage. Now, if a woman's running that company, we're okay, but God forbid to be the husband that's running that feminine hygiene products, I feel sorry when he goes home tonight. But I don't want to get into that. And
let's stick with baby formula.
Let's stick with baby formula.
Okay. None of us can win that. None of us can win that. But Brian, what else do you see on the industrial market?
Well, when you read the CoStar news, it's there's a couple things that I think are opportunities and for all of us and exciting. And you talk about the internet wars and Walmart starting to create a big footprint for logistics and to compete with Amazon. I mean, really, there's an opportunity for the demand, and this from an owner standpoint, the demand for real estate to triple. Because everybody's going to compete. So Walmart's got to compete with Amazon, and then Target and some of these other discount stores. And then the other thing I think is going to be exciting, and Peter's way ahead of this, is manufacturing. I think with the supply chain issue, I think there's an opportunity for manufacturing to come back. And so from a real estate standpoint, I think it's kind of interesting to look at old manufacturing buildings and can they be bought right? And maybe those are going to be some demand and some value add.
The value of those have really picked up, Peter, because the costs are just new construction are just so high.
Yes, it is.
Guys, well, we need to take a quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back after middle of the hour break. You're listening to Trenton Maggot, Peter Fink, and Bryan Hartmann on the Grow Omaha Show right here on 1110 KFIB. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Grow Omaha Show, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing Company. D&M Roofing is the company that I used to redo my roof, which took 2 days a couple years ago when there was hail damage, and they were amazing. It's a full-service certified roofing contract with more than 50 years of experience in all areas of residential and commercial real estate. They can help you with hail and wind. We just had a hail event, insurance claims. When a storm comes through town, it's an intimidating process to go through. When you call, they come out, they inspect your roof free of charge. They have a step-by-step claims process. You don't want to be unrepresented when you have your insurance adjuster out there. You want a licensed contractor present to make sure you get the most out of your repairs. So thank you to D&M Roofing for their sponsorship and the amazing things they do for commercial and residential roofing. Go to dndmroofing.com. Well, guys, last night I went to dinner at Saffron at Exarban Village. It's the new Indian restaurant. I think it was a yoga place or something before. There were thousands, literally thousands of people at an amazing event. And this is your Noddle Development Spotlight. And congratulations to Noddle Companies and Exarban Village. They landed a 5-year deal with the Omaha Summer Arts Festival, the 48th annual. So they're going to have the next 5 years at Exarban Village. They had... I've never seen it so prolific. This is the same arts festival that's been downtown, and it's hard to find parking, and it's crowded, and now we're at a more centralized location. The admission is free. The weather was perfect. The weather's good this weekend, and they have 37 bands on 2 stages. They have that Stinson Park all lined up. They have a bunch of kids events. They have things for young artists. They have inexpensive artwork for kids to kind of start their collection to get them hooked on consumerism. And you can have all kinds of vendors throughout Exarban Village. So I really suggest to go check out the Summer Arts Festival. It is running through Sunday. You can go to summerarts.org and enjoy it. So I'll see everybody there this weekend, and that is your Noddle Development Spotlight. And Peter Fink, I want to give a little bit about you in case there's anybody that hasn't seen your yellow and black 14 certified transmission locations in the Midwest. And you have a very interesting story. Where'd you go to high school, by the way?
I went to Creighton Prep here in town.
Okay.
I'm born and raised here in Omaha. So
excellent. So Peter started certified transmission back in 1979 at the young age of 19. He had his tools, $1,000 worth, a 2-bay gas station, and a strong determination. Peter always had a vision for certified transmission to be larger than just your normal repair shop. He set out opening more locations and eventually added centralized rebuilding facility. Over the last 40-plus years now, Peter has grown his company to the largest remanufacturer in the Midwest and now employs over 400 team members. Peter and his wife, Carolyn, which is the same name as my mom, since 1986 have 3 children, Amanda, Peter Jr., and Alex. They all work with him, but they didn't get in the business without working hard, and we'll talk about that. Peter enjoys spending time with his family, snowmobiling, going to concerts, and attending sporting events. And Peter, I've gotten to know you over the last several times looking at my properties and also through your fundraising efforts. For those that don't know, Peter has about 140 muscle cars, all American, all impeccable condition, all very unique. And you use you call it addiction probably, and
yes,
and infatuation of muscle cars, not only for your own gratification, but you also use it as a vehicle. See how I did that? Vehicle to allow charitable organizations to raise millions of dollars. And tell me about that.
Well, First of all, I'm going to say I don't think there's a secret in Omaha you don't know about. Okay,
Yeah.
for sure when it comes to restaurants and what's going on and growing. So that's awesome. Obviously, you've learned a little bit about me too. But back to the I've got a car museum, like
American
you said,
Muscle Car Museum.
American muscle cars, no foreign cars, no Ferraris, okay, no Lamborghinis. Not that they're not great cars. I've just always collected American muscle cars, late 60s, early 70s, and all the new American muscle cars. With that, I had a smaller museum, and I outgrown that, and so when I had about 60 cars, the old place held about 30, and we hosted fundraiser events for charities and raised like you said, several $1 million, okay, over the years. I had too many cars, and I told the wife, I either got to start selling a bunch of cars or I got to find a bigger place. So we found a bigger place, and
77,000 square feet worth.
just a little man cave, okay. So we've got all the cars in there. We opened it last spring, basically, and have been hosting charity events there. And I'm proud to say it's been very, very successful in raising money for all the different charities and stuff out there. I kind of joke about it. I collect cars. Women collect shoes. Okay, it's kind of fair, ain't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
And these are really expensive shoes.
Yep.
But
yep.
these cars have soul too, so we're good there.
There you go.
This guy has about 200 trickle chargers, if you know what those are, to keep the batteries going, and not just on his cars, but his boats and everything else. You also have amazing rock and roll pinball machine, classic pinball machines, and other fun artifacts that you collect, rock and roll posters, guitars, other things. So I highly recommend, if you ever see at the American Muscle Car Museum your favorite charity or not so favorite charity, pay the price, get the tax deduction, and go see Peter's car collection.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty proud of it. And as you said, it isn't just all about cars, rock and roll. I love rock and roll. That's what I grew up with. And we've got an amazing signed guitar collection there. And I've also, like you said, collect the pinball machines, anything to do with rock and roll. Okay, not that I'm into pinballs.
You got like Aerosmith, Stones. What are the other ones?
There's Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, okay, Elvis Presley, okay, that kind of started it and everything. So, yeah, we got a lot of unique AC/DC, okay, so there's still a couple more on my hit list, okay, just like cars, a couple more on my hit list that I got to get.
Well, it's the thing that I learned about you is you've got a deep passion, not just for transmissions and your business and the city of Omaha and everything, but what I like is how you invest in other people's lives and how you've got some strict policies and you yourself obviously have a huge positive work ethic, but tell me what's unique about the certified transmission corporate culture.
Well, when I started, of course, that's not how it was, okay? I mean, first it was to repair cars and make some money or whatever. But as we continue to grow, definitely seeing investing in people, okay? As far as I'm concerned, that's the number one thing. People are what make it, and that's what makes Omaha so great. We got such fantastic people in every walks of life, okay, and stuff. I wouldn't think about going anywhere else. When I think about expanding another plant and stuff, people all the time say, well, why don't you go to Kansas City or something? And no, I love Omaha. I'm an Omaha born and raised, and my family's here, and it's all about people. When we hire somebody on, we don't hire experienced techs necessarily. Not that we don't, okay, but a lot of people, for us to grow, we have our own trainers. So we come in and invest heavily into people, okay? Truthfully, I do a lot of the interviews myself because I'm going to invest $50,000 in training in that guy, okay, or gal, okay, to become successful if they're going to be a technician working at either the retail store or the manufacturing plant, okay, and stuff. So I believe in helping people, get involved with Teen Challenge and a number of other organizations around town, and I believe in giving people a second chance. But they got to help themselves, too. We want to help them.
But they only get a second chance.
They only get a second chance.
Can you
if they fall
talk
off
about
the wagon.
the 90-day probationary period?
Well, we're pretty strict, okay? And we got attendance is really important. If I'm going to invest in you, I need you there, okay, and stuff, all right?
But you know it up front. You set the ground rules up front, so it's not like they didn't know.
Yes, that's the biggest thing we talk about. As an example, if in the first 90 days, start time's 8 o'clock, 8:01 is considered tardy. If you have have 4 tardies with us, you're out the door. We don't care what the reason is. There is no slippery slope. I don't care if you overslept, the alarm didn't go off, car didn't start, dog ate your shoe. It doesn't matter. On number 4, you're out the door, okay, on stuff, And there's other very strict attendance policies. We need people there. People depend on us, okay? People's cars are broken. And if you think about it, oh my gosh, when your car goes down, that took your freedom. I don't see too many of us getting on public transportation, okay, around here in Omaha, okay? That's a whole different subject, okay, or whatever. But regardless, our car is our freedom to let us do all the things, go to work, take care of our families, go do fun things, all that stuff. So, and when a transmission goes down, that's not like an oil change that you're going to get done in 30 minutes or less.
Right, exactly. So your 3 children work with you at Certified Transmission. They all had work and jobs and training in other industries and outside of Certified Transmission. What was the barriers to entry for your children?
Well, I tried to discourage them to coming into the business. Again, I told them, and it was my business, what I enjoyed to do. I tell people all the time, and the people that come work for me, you got to go after your passion. You got to like what you do. If you don't, go find it, and you'll become good at it, okay? And so I told the same thing with my kids. Of course, they were there when they were 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, okay, and stuff, but that doesn't count. When they went to college, they wanted to come work for me when they got out. And no, they had to go work somewhere else for 3 years minimum before they could even be considered to be brought in. And then if they did come in and wanted to, I totally encouraged them not to. Okay, they all said, Dad, this is what we want to do. We want to go grow the business with you.
They took a pay cut to come, right?
Oh, a huge pay cut. Okay, all 3 of my kids took a pay cut, huge, to come work for me, and they had to start at the bottom, okay, and they had to earn the positions that they're in, not given the positions, because, again, people depend on it, okay, and I'm not going to hand them something and say, well, they're my kids, to take care of them. No, they had to prove that they could do it. They had to get educated, trained, work up from the bottom, and gain that respect with the other people.
Yeah, are you adopting right now or no?
Probably most people wouldn't like me.
Okay, good point. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a short break we have to take before our final segment, the Turner Construction lightning round. You're listening to Trenton Magid, Peter Fink, and Bryan Hartmann. Jeff Beals will be back with me next week. And you're listening to 1110 KFAB. We'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And welcome back to the Grow Omaha Show, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. You're listening to Trenton Magid. Jeff Beals will be with me next week. Peter Fink of Certified Transmission and Bryan Hartmann, my colleague at NAI NP Dodge, is here. And this is your Turner Construction lightning round. Turner Construction in Omaha, you may know them as the longtime and continuous contractor for the Sarpy County Data Center. You all know who it is. For some reason, I can't say the name, but they're on like their 6th phase or something like that, and they continue to build, and they do amazing stuff. It's one of the world's largest construction companies, but they also do a lot of smaller type projects. They do build-outs. They do ground-up construction. All food groups from medical to industrial, and you should consider Turner Construction. They're building for the future with over 150 full-time Turner employees in the area, 40 of whom are local to the Omaha. The Omaha office is led by Patrick Sokol, the Omaha office leader that does a fabulous job. You've heard him on this show. They do amazing things for the local community. Not just community involvement and charitable things, but they also do an amazing job of training high school, college students, trade schools. Just like Certified Transmission, they really invest in their employees, and that's the only way to do it. So, guys, Omaha is ranked 29th in U.S. News and World Report's list of best places to live in 2022 and 23. So you still have time to move here, and while we're 29th, they analyzed 150 most populous metro areas in the nation to find the best place to live. To make the top of the list, you had to have a good value, be a desirable place to live, and have strong job market and high-quality life. The affordability and strong economy to attract young professionals in Omaha while being safe, having a plethora of educational options, family-friendly activities, and have to appeal to kids. The top 5 cities in that order was Huntsville, Alabama. I disagree with. Colorado Springs, I can understand. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Boulder, Colorado, and San Jose, California. And anyone that guessed the worst 5, Peter?
I don't know. Did San Francisco? You always hear bad about that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say San Francisco.
You California ranks. So here they are. The first 5, starting with 150th and working backwards. San Juan, Puerto Rico, Stockton. They've already had some big stores. Stockton, California. Visalia, California, Bakersfield, California, Modesto, California. So there you go. So you're not far off.
Not too
the rankings
far.
on some local areas in our region. 14th was Des Moines, Iowa. 17th, Minneapolis. 18th, Lincoln. 51st, Kansas City, Missouri. 55th, Denver. 72nd, St. Louis. 73rd, Oklahoma City. 79th, Chicago. Hard to believe. And Wichita was 103rd. So I'll take 29th given that list, and we're always moving up. We know we're higher than that.
I would agree.
Yep. J Development is celebrating the grand opening of the Swivel Apartments right across from the Target store at 72nd and Dodge Street this week. 119 North 32nd Street, just east of the crossroads. The 5-story building has 158 market-rate apartments and commercial space. A few blocks to the west, J Development is building another 5-story apartment complex at 78th and Dodge to be known as the Clove. You've seen the concrete base there. Workers have started drilling footings for the Hampton Inn. We need another hotel in Omaha like we need another yogurt shop. It's planned for the southwest corner of 44th and Douglas Street near the University of Campus Medical Center in the future Next project. The 6-story hotel is expected to have 95 rooms and 7,300 square feet of first-floor commercial space. Speaking of the Med Center area, demolition has now started on both the old Monroe Meyer Institute and the former J.P. Lord School buildings on the southeast corner of Farnham and Saddle Creek Road. This is expected to be the site of the $2.7 billion Project Next, which is Homeland Security, Department of Defense, and for the next pandemic and things like that. It's a self-contained teaching hospital, and it is going to just blow up the economy down there. 8,700 jobs with good pay. It's going to be tens of thousands of construction jobs over 5 to 7 years when they do that. The total value of building permits issued in the city of Omaha Planning Department last year climbed to roughly $1.5 billion, according to Cindy Gonzalez of the Nebraska Examiner. That's the highest yearly tally on record for the city and the second highest when accounting for inflation. The city platted 1,349 acres in 2021, the most since 2005. Well, we are out of time, but Peter Fink, Certified Transmissions, would love having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here with both of you.
Bryan Hartmann, I get paid to have you on the show, and it's a pleasure working with you.
It's a reasonable price, though.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be with you next week on 1110 KFAB at 9 o'clock a.m.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.